Welcome back to my short presentation, this time about Nornir. So we did the network automation task, the same as in Ansible, in Nornir this time. Was also quite time intensive, but even more interesting than Ansible, I would say. I really liked how you can just code and deploy a whole setup like this. So we also have the same service YAML with the customer A and customer B deploying to that network with some VRFs and BGP forwarding and stuff. Yeah, these are the components I used and how you install it. Some configuration you can do, but basically you can just use the terminal again. Oh, and I always added some questions which I had during the lab. They are basically just for me, but if you're interested, normally they are answered by Jan. All right. So here we have the inventory over here, which contains the different hosts with host name and the groups which they are in. The groups are used to specify which group has which template. You could also add some data variables, but I don't need them. I'm doing it with Python. And this one basically starts with the backup task again. So I can basically just get the config from the devices with the napalm and Nornir. Yeah. Then the next is set host variables. Here I'm getting the loopback 0 again and the hostname ending, which I'm saving into the host variables for later use. Then a really neat one is the templating. Here I'm going through each group and building the template for the group. So my templates are stored in here. First, let's go through the basic config. I'm basically just throwing the service YAML in here. In Python, I'm just unpacking it once, which is done here. It's loading it and unpacking it once into customers. So I can use for each customer in here and then just saying customer name, customer ID, customer root import, because it's a list. I'm doing it like that. Then let's first look at BGP. Here it's the same like before. I also added if statement, so it's only applying it if the site or if the customer really is present at that site. Then basically, again, customer name, it's just templated in here. Then for the dual homed, it's a little bit more complicated. So as you can see, there are 3 for loops. It was quite challenging navigating the service YAML. I guess next time I would do that in Python. But since I already started like that, I continue it like it. And there was that really neat website which Jan showed me to navigate that whole thing, because it's quite different how you work with dictionaries and with lists and so on. So I'm going through all the customers, then all the sites. If the site is present, it will continue, and for each site interface, it will basically go in here. And I'm able to specify again interface name, customer ID, and so on. Then this whole block is basically the IP math from Ansible. So I'm splitting the IP into octets, taking the last one, adding the hostname ending, and joining everything back together. Would be easier in Python as well. But anyway, it was fun. So then this block over here with the if statements is just done so I can manually specify the priority, or if it's not specified, I will fall back to the little workaround with taking the host name ending. Those are specified in here in the host YAML. All right. Yeah, there's nothing special anymore in here. So let's continue to the single. Here, the same for loop setup is used to get to the interfaces. And yeah, that's basically it. Then all these templates for each customer or each device, basically, they are added into this config variable, which is going to the commit config, where I use napalm configure to basically just apply all these configurations. Then in the end, there's just a little add-on, basically, so I can control everything from the terminal. This is done with Typer. So a little Typer app which takes optional input. Normally it's false. If you set it to true, it will go to remove the config, which is basically just adding the remove in here and going to the different templates, which are specified to remove all the configuration again. So let's quickly do that. quickly grab the comment. Minus remove. And first I wanted to add the rich progress bar, as I always thought it's taking too long and showing nothing. And I already used it in automating with Python module. Then I stumbled upon the rich Nornir, which is quite neat. So you can see here it applied basically this configuration to the edge one. Everything is green, everything is good. So over here, the ping is not working anymore. Then let's go and apply it. It's concurrent to 4 hosts, so it's working on it. Right, and everything is uploaded and up to date. As you can see in the dual homed, the setup, the configurations is a little bit longer. That's expected, as we need to configure all the stuff over there. So let's ping from 5 to the other one, that number 3, and that's working like a charm. To the dual homed one is working as well. Okay, so basically this one was a quite good one as well. I basically just compared it with the original one, and that way I worked until I got the correct setup. Yeah, was quite good, quite the experience. So all tasks are green, everything is good. There's just one task left. Cheers.